This is our third meeting, I believe, and I'm calling the meeting to order. Do you have someone second it?
Second.
Okay, thank you. My name is Lincoln Favors, as you guys know. I'm the PA president, and welcome. A couple of things I'd like to go over. This meeting is going to be a short meeting due to the fact that there's a concert going on in the building, and a lot of parents was asking, if they can skip the meeting to attend. So I said, okay, go ahead. So two things I want to bring into your attention is the upcoming dinner with the principal has been moved until the 21st. Okay, so there's a new mail that was sent out. Check your email on the new upcoming dinner with the principal. Next is the SAT class, which mail will be sent out, I believe, next week. We have completed setting everything up with Compton, and we are good to go. There is a new low cost in fee, and one thing is the book cost will be no shipping as long as you guys join on time before the 7 days. If you join late, you're gonna have to pay. If you register late, you'll have to pay for the cost of the shipping. But at this point in time, there'll be no cost of shipping for the books, and that is a $25 reduction in the costs. Okay, our treasurer is not here at the moment, but I can give you the treasurer report. I'm just bringing it up as we speak. Okay, so for this year, we did a couple, donation. We got a couple donation in, which is a matching fund from a couple companies that parents had signed us up for to get matching grant. And as this foreign point, we got a matching grant of $15K this year so far. We had spent some money for the teacher luncheon a couple weeks ago, and a photo day for that was done a couple days ago actually. And so far we're looking good with raising, but we're still short based on the COVID situation we're in. Okay, based on that one, I am going to turn this over to, let me just double check one thing here before I turn it over. Budget review. Okay, so let's deal with Patricia. Can you talk about family appeal that you sent out?
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Patricia Corres, and with Susie Darnell, we are the co-chairs of the Family Appeal for Brooklyn Tech. First of all, we want to wish all the parents of Brooklyn Tech a very wonderful holiday season. And we want to thank all of you who have made a priority to donate to our PA this year. The Brooklyn Tech PA does try to improve our children's education by paying for extras that are not covered by the DOE funds that the school gets. So we will appreciate all of you, whomever can, to give us a little bit of a donation. And the donation, we kindly suggest $600, but no amount is too big or too small. And it's just for the benefit of the education of our kids. So we thank you all, and we wish you a very good holiday season and a very happy new year. And I'm going to put in the chat our website page where you can make a donation. And as I said before, no amount is too big or too small. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Patricia. Do we have Jennifer? Do you want to talk anything on the diversity announcement?
Hi, this is Jennifer. Thank you, Lincoln. I want to talk about two things. One is the book club. We have the book club in the beginning of the month, and we invite the others to the book clubs. Very successful. And the second one, I'm going to talk about the Lunar New Year. And please check the Tech Talk weekly for all the updates. And we continually accept the videos from the students. So please support us by supporting your videos. The donation link for the Lunar New Year is ready. So you can go to the Tech Talk and click the donation that button, so then can submit to us. I want to say all the parents who did the donation. The third is raffle tickets. We are working on the raffle tickets link, will be come up very soon. So just check the Tech Talk weekly. I want to do the translation also. 我想告诉给大家听，就是10月份初的时候，我们有 book club， 那个读书会非常成功，希望下次你们参加。然后那个农历新年我们继续收节目，请大家去关照一下每个星期的 Tech Talk， 然后在那里 submit， 还有那个捐款连接，希望大家踊跃捐款。我非常感谢大家已经捐款的家长，还有我们的那个抽奖的那个连接很快就可以放上来，到时候我们会告诉给大家。Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer, for that. We have our speaker today won't make it today due to some personal issues, so we don't have any speaker today. Forgive me for that one, but it was at the last minute. Okay. I see Mary's on. Mary, do you want to say a few things? Few words?
Just thanks to all the PA for doing what they do. I want to make sure parents know that for absences, just because I get these questions a lot, when your child is absent, there's a form on the website under parent engagement, and I think under policies, or you can just email me and I can tell you, but there's a form. You can search the website. There's a form for you to fill out and to sign and to attach a doctor's note, and their kid then takes that letter to all their teachers to sign it, so they know the kid was excused. Your child was excused. Other than that, that's it for before the holidays as we roll into them. So I hope everybody has a nice one.
Thank you, Mary. So, Rita, let's open up the chat. Yes. Rita, can you open up the chat so we can get Mr. Newman on to start answering
The
some
chat
questions?
should now be open. You can check.
All right, so let's see what's going on. Okay, so Mr. Newman, this is from Esther. She said, would it be great to hear from Mr. Newman about the Omicron situation? Lots of rumors going around.
Well, I don't know in particular what you are looking for. I do know there are some rumors that schools throughout the city will go all remote next week to get a sort of isolation period where students aren't traveling for a couple of weeks to come back after the break. That is not true. And so it is absolutely not going to happen. I'm not saying that individual schools might not be closed for exceptional cases, but a citywide closure next week is not going to happen. So that I guess that's the rumors that Susan is also referring to. So
Yeah.
it's not, the city is aware of those rumors and has dispelled those rumors.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Newman. Okay, I'm looking for any more chats coming in. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry, I do not understand the statement about Arden books. Okay, so
That's for you.
for the SAT prep classes, they usually send you guys hardcover books. So usually the cost of the book, if you guys don't know, is $50 that they charge you. So I got them to get rid of the delivery fee because, on there you have a delivery fee and the book cost, which is like $25 for the book. So I asked them to get rid of the delivery fee, and they did that. So, the total cost for the book will only be $25 plus the cost of taking the course. So that's where the cost comes in. A change in the price, instead of being $50, would be $25. But just sign up and you automatically see the book cost assigned to on the receipt. Okay, next question, Mr. Newman, this is for you. How many cases of COVID must the school have to be closed?
Yeah, that is a good question. I believe the number is 20 in a 7-day rolling period. So if you ever hit 20 within 7 days, that is supposedly when a full school closure goes into effect. So you see the numbers that I'm sending out, and you could add them up day by day. Obviously, in day 8, day 1 drops off, and you start a new set, and it just keeps rolling. But it's 20 in 7 days.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Newman. Okay. No, it's not too late to sign up for the SAT. Actually, the link is open, but we have not sent out the email as yet. So it will be sent out on Monday. So expect the email Monday for you to sign up for the SAT classes. Okay. So next question, this is for you, Mr. Newman. This is from Hillary. How are you tracing contact of positive cases beyond the classroom?
I mean, a lot of this is really just by recollection of students themselves. So if a student tests positive, right, we talk to them, we know what classes they're in, so it's a little easier to trace in that regard, but we don't know who else they've been near. We don't know what they've done after school, who they sat near, maybe, on the walk to the train, which they might have taken their masks off. And so we just simply talk to the students, who did you sit near at lunch? Especially at times with your mask was off, and they tell us the names of those people. Sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes they sat near somebody that they have no idea who they are. And so it becomes very difficult at that point. Then when we find some people that they did know around them, we're like, hey, you remember this kid who was in the red shirt? Brian didn't know who he was. You know who he was? And we try to track down who that person was. So that's basically it, just by students telling us who sat around them and who they were near.
Okay, and so I guess based on that, you're saying, understand many report of COVID and potential exposure in the cafeteria area outside of class. So do we have any issue with student in the cafeteria area exposed?
Yeah, I mean, I think, that's what I've been talking about. Yeah, so the first question we really ask, as I said, when kids report to us that they've tested positive, is the classroom's easier. We know where they sit. We know who is in the classroom. We know the attendance for the day. But what we don't know is, who they sat near in the cafeteria. So that's the big questions that we have to ask.
Okay, and another question, Marilyn is asking, where can she get that baseball cap you wear?
This was actually an old, not so old, maybe a decade ago. It was a hat for the football team, actually. And so I don't have the baseball one. I don't have that one. And there's a new football one that I gotta get. So you'd think I'd be able to get cool stuff, but a lot of my stuff is a little old. But anyway, yeah, so I don't know if they have this one around anymore. It's a little trucker hattish. It's a little retro.
Okay, all right. The SAT would be remotely this year. There won't be any, in-person SAT. So once you sign up, it's all going to be on Zoom, online. Okay. Next question.
Lincoln. So if you have the SAT class link, So if you can send me by tomorrow, so I can include it in Kaka.
Okay, I can, no problem. I get it to you. Okay. Next question, Mr. Newman. There's a number of private schools have been closed until January. So not a rumor, some has closed. So
Yeah. I mean, we have nothing to do with private schools, obviously. You know, we're all city DOE schools, and the DOE and the mayor has no control over private schools opening or closing. So no, I got that. What I was really talking about is there has been a real rumor going around that all city schools were closing down next week to allow for isolation through the break, to hope for the numbers go down a bit. But so that might have been something the city was considering, but they've definitively told us today that they are not going to do that.
that's what, gentlemen. Okay, yes, the website is outdated. I'm going to try to get the website up. I need to work with Susie on getting the website updated, and I just didn't find the time. But I promise you guys it will be updated by January, sometime in January. I work with her to get it done. Okay, yes, it's very confusing and it will get done. Okay, question, is sophomore taking the SAT in March? I don't think so.
No, sophomores are taking the PSAT in March, the PSAT. Juniors are taking the SAT at the same time.
Okay,
Sophomores, PSAT, juniors, SAT.
thank you. Okay, Mary, this is a question you can answer. Did the planner get distributed to the students? I got several emails about this a couple of days ago, but I'm not quite sure.
They were distributed, but if you didn't get one, let me know and I'll figure out how to get you one. Or I'll get a box and put them in my office. Okay.
Okay, so this
I'm in
person.
1W7.
Okay,
I
thanks,
think they
Mary.
might be out. I think they might be outside the auditorium also.
Okay, cool, thanks. Okay, Mr. Newman, this is you again. With COVID case increase, can we have our kids get tested in the school even if they are vaccinated?
Yeah, it's a very timely question. This surely came up today within our community as well. Currently, they are not testing vaccinated students. And, you know, only unvaccinated students have consent on file to even test. So we'd have to open up the portal to allow vaccinated students to give consent. I mean, I'm getting ahead of myself when I'm saying that because the DOE is currently not testing vaccinated students. So we will inquire because there are students that think can use it as a service. For example, you think you might have been exposed, you come to school and you find out that maybe you might have been exposed, and if testing's happening, why not just walk down the hall and get a test to be safe? And so they're currently not allowing that. So I will surely ask the DOE if we could change that possibility, but they're currently not allowing it.
Okay, thank you. And for the SAT class, the cost is, I think it's $425. Don't take my word on that 100%. I've been trying to talk them down, as much as possible. But the link would send out, once I send the link out, I can actually see, you'll actually see the costs before you even register for the class, for the SAT classes. And you can choose if you want to register then and there. But I did get them to get rid of the book fee, the book delivery fee. That was just ridiculous. Okay, SAT class in person. It will be remote, no in person. Okay, more of a comment. I went to a course and concert my son. Okay. Actually, this is a more question, Mr. Newman.
Okay.
It's a long question. Give me a second. Let me start over. Okay, I'm trying to figure if it's a comment or a question. That is the thing here. All right, so, okay, my son went to the chorus. Okay, he wants to go to the band. Okay, so he wants to go to the band tonight, but was swamped with homework. In the future, please reduce the homework. It's only for a week. Maybe give club credit to encourage students to attend.
Yeah, we can maybe get some sort of something. We can't give them club credit to attend, but we can maybe give them some sort of incentive, having teachers maybe lighten up on homework. I don't know. So I'll have to talk to them about that.
Okay, next question. If students are on the Brooklyn Tech sport team, can they be excused from taking gym next semester?
No, you have to be currently in athletics at any given time. So the only way you could be excused is if when you're in season. So in other words, to be excused from PE all year, you need to be a like a 3-sport athlete, you know, fall, spring, and winter.
Okay. Next question is, do junior students have to sign up for the SAT schedule on March 23rd for themselves?
No,
Or the school sign them up?
The in-school SAT that is fee waived is you don't have to sign up. Everybody could take it.
Okay. All right, SAT class is for what grade? And what grade student taking pre-SAT, please, I want to know. So I guess for now, as you said, is the seniors take SAT, juniors take SAT, sophomore take PSAT. So to answer that question, oh, there's a oh, that's Mary. Okay. To the person who asked planner, sorry, okay, so that's the person who's asking about, is the school gonna be remote? So the answer to that is no, not at this time. Okay, planner, we can ignore that one. We heard about a social media threat. Bring your guns to school day tomorrow. Has the school heard about that rumor?
Bring your guns. It's a social media what?
Okay. We heard about a social media threat. Bring your guns to school day tomorrow. Has the school heard about this rumor? And was there extra precaution taken?
I've not, I'm trying to see the question. I have not heard of students thinking of bringing guns to school tomorrow. But if there was any threat whatsoever on our particular school, we surely would escalate that, and it would be more than extra protection. There would be, you know, anti-terrorism task force and the whole 9 yards. But that would be if there was a direct, you know, mention of the school itself. So I didn't. So this sounds like it's a rumor of everybody's supposed to bring guns to every school. I don't know.
I haven't heard a rumor either. This is the first time I heard that rumor. Okay. So next question: the number of positive cases of COVID are updated based on COVID tests you do on students that are considered contact or random students.
So the number of positive cases of COVID are updated based on COVID tests you do on students that are considered contacts. Or, you know, actually, that's not actually how we find most of the cases. Most of the cases are students who have tested positive who report back to the school that they tested positive. So not so much ones that we've randomly tested and found to be positive. Matter of fact, I don't actually think that's actually happened at all.
All right, and you're still doing daily screening as well?
Yes, for not only for students, for everyone who works in the building.
When is the last day of school for coming up? Because someone's asking, is school open December 24th, Christmas Eve?
December 24th, no. So that's a Friday, right?
Yeah.
Right, it's Christmas Eve, we're closed.
Yeah, it's not open the Friday. The last day is the 23rd on Thursday. School is closed on the 24th, Friday.
Okay, so question, does the school provide tutoring for geometry and physics?
Sure do. Yeah, absolutely. And so that should be, if it's not already in place, that should be ramping up soon. Usually we start that just after the vacation, but that might already be in play. And I'm talking about after school tutoring by adults, but there is also during school tutoring for all these subjects during the day, during lunch periods by teachers as well. And there's also peer tutoring in these classes after school by National Honors students.
Okay. One quick question. Someone asked me this before. This is about the attendance that was, that's not correct in Pupupat. I think I spoke to you about this one before.
Probably.
So they're still complaining about the attendance is still not correct.
Yeah,
in
it'll work
Pupupat.
itself out. It's just the back attendance. I know there's still some people that were marked absent in September, and we used to have to go back and get the teacher to attest that you were there, at least one teacher, and then we can correct the attendance. So it's just a process where we've been playing a lot of catch up with attendance. So apologize for that, but it's not going to hurt your
Okay.
grades. It's not going to impact you getting into college, but we will get it fixed.
All right. Next question. My son submitted community service hours online. How can we confirm the school as record of his committed service? How can they find that in Pupupat?
Yeah, I don't think it's in Pupil Path. I thought that you get a confirmation that it's submitted. That would have to be something I look into. Mr. Kalin runs the community service time for us. I'll have to get back to you I'll get back to you, Lincoln, and find out, where it's logged and if we could see it somehow.
Okay, sure. And this one is from Mel. Thank you, Mel.
All right.
Yeah, so any word on senior dues? What's included?
We're just actually waiting on the price point of 2 items just so we can get the senior dues accurate. It's very important that it's accurate. You can't just overestimate and then you collect too much money, right? I mean, then you got to give all the money back, the extra money, even if it's $1 a kid, you got to start writing, $1,500 $1 checks. And so you need to get that number on point. So anyway, we're waiting on a final price on the yearbook, which is probably the biggest price point. After that, we should be able to come out with a price. We're looking to come out with the senior price next week, definitely before the break.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Newman. Okay, you already answered this question. No, this one is about the junior signing up to do the SAT. The school automatically sign up students for the SAT. So for these parents, don't worry about it. It will get done and you get the information in the mail. Okay, next. When is the first college information session for junior?
Now you're really trying to stump me now. I don't know when that date is off the top of my head. You can, that's going to be something else I'm going to have to follow up with. And I could send it to those 2 answers to you, Lincoln, and you could put it on the PA.
Okay, sure. Thanks. Yes, the school is still checking screening for COVID. Okay, so this person says, schools should check daily screening to have better report of current COVID numbers. So that's a question, or
So
it's
the
a comment.
question is, schools still checking daily screening to have better report of current COVID numbers. Yeah, I don't know. The screening is, if you don't pass the screening, you can't come into the building. So, and then, yeah, I know if somebody fails the screening, so I do have that data. And then we can follow up with them, but that really doesn't happen. They know before they leave the house if they're not going to pass the screening. I mean, there's just a couple of questions asked. It's not like they get there and all of a sudden are surprised. They have to do the same screen every day. So, yeah, if they're not going to pass it, they'll stay home and they might call us and let us know why. Yeah.
Okay. All right. The next question is, this is from Maria. Will current sophomore take both the PSAT 10 in March and the PSAT next school year?
Yeah. So they take, right. So that's exactly what happens. They take the PSAT in March, then the PSAT again as juniors in October, and then the SAT forward from there. Yeah.
Okay. This is Susan. She's saying, apology again on the gym class. What do the kids need to do to be excused? Some of the kids from track and field, 3 seasons, I guess it's 3 season sports, try to get excused and were not able to do so. What is the procedure?
They have to talk to Mr. Ciccolini, the coordinator of the department. You could email him. The track coach should be able to attest to that. Freshman is a little wonky because we're not sure if you're going to do all 3 seasons. And so if you're not a freshman, there shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. All right, Vito, I don't ask any question. Is there any first-hand information concerning that piece audit? You're talking to me, Vito, or that's just a comment? Okay.
I just found that on the internet. You talking about the TikTok nonsense?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I just found it pretty quickly. It's just, there's something that I guess that happens every December 17th. I don't think people are too worried about it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Thanks,
Yeah,
Vito.
that if I what you're talking about, I am aware that that's a citywide, thing. Yeah, it's nothing was mentioned about the school specific. Matter of fact, in one of the hundreds of comments, there was actually one mention. So there was a hit on Brooklyn Tech in the sense of that we came up in the comments, and somebody just said one comment was Brooklyn Tech be safe, and so that was seen by police as not a threatening comment, but as a hope we're okay comment. So,
And Mr. Newman, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure our security officers know what's going on and they're going to be on alert tomorrow. And,
oh yeah,
they have the radios. If they need to call a sector car, they could do it in 2 minutes.
Yep.
Okay, thanks, Vito. Thanks, Mr. Newman. Okay, student need to sign up for pre-SAT, or is it mandatory for every student?
If you talk about sophomores in March, they don't need to sign up, and it is also fee waived.
Okay. All right, I'm going to skip the one about the TikTok
Yeah.
thing here. Okay, I'm just going to skip the one and bring your own gun. Yeah. Okay, so can we have a current number? Maybe more than 10 cases already, and the rest to do remote school. So my other kid is already going to start remote, and only has 7 cases at the school. So what's the difference with Brooklyn Tech?
We have 6,000 kids, and so they've made a number of 20 for large schools. So I imagine 20 is also for a school of 2,000. So our number should probably be more like 60, but it's 20 for large schools. So the difference is your other kid goes to a small school.
Okay, thank you. So this is a lunch question. Last Thursday, period 8, lunch run out. So can they please make extra at lunch for kids in case of, making just enough?
Yeah, a hot lunch, I don't know if you're saying they ran out completely of lunch or they ran out of hot lunch.
Well, I can't tell you if it's at lunch or just lunch altogether.
They're surely doing the best they can. It's not of lack of food, it's preparation. So the food's back there. It's just they're preparing this fast as they can to literally dish it out. And so yeah, I mean we have some staffing issues, and I think we've talked about that before, but I thought everything was resolved. Usually there's not too much running out. And if there is running out, it's just a matter of just waiting a couple of minutes so they can prepare a little bit more.
Okay. All right. This has to do with the community service that student has to do. So is community service required for graduation? My son has not done any, and he is a junior.
Get to work.
For that parents, I mean, there is, if you should be getting, in PeoplePath, you do get a bunch of email that telling you that, community service is available and you need to sign up. So I've been getting some, and I did sign my son up for service based on what came through PeoplePath. So if you do check PeoplePath, you should be getting an email about community service. So I've been getting it, so you guys all should be getting that also.
And you could do community service inside the school. If you don't feel like, especially in COVID times, you want your kid running around all over the place, you could work in somebody's office. There's places to work. And so there's definitely community service to be done.
Okay, thank you. Okay, community service appearance. Okay. All right, so this is from Erica. Community service is supposed to appear in the antidotal section of People Pack. Yes, thank you.
All right.
Yeah, I didn't realize that to myself. Okay. Please encourage the principal to increase the physics tutoring. Currently, it is limited.
All right. I'll try to do that and try to convince
Okay.
those teachers to do it.
All right, so this one is from Hillary. Did our SAT cutoff score increase with our new top ranking?
That hasn't come into play yet. So, the students are actually taking the exam right now. And so literally, not like today right now, but last weekend, this weekend,
Yeah.
they're taking the exam. So we are just we're still in talks between the DOE and myself about how many freshmen we're looking at. So I'm hoping to have actually a smaller class than in the past. So a smaller class will sort of dictate that the number would be higher, because then we'd be taking in less kids. So that's really the only thing that really predicates it. It's not about how many more students are taking the exam trying to get in. We're just setting the number for what we think is going to get us how many students that we want to be. We have a very large freshman class this year, and I think we need to pair it off with a smaller freshman class next year so that we could stay around the same numbers that we are right now.
Okay, thank you. This is a teacher question. My daughter pre-calc teacher doesn't regular update grades in People Pack. The last grade updated is on December 3rd. Is there a deadline on when teachers are supposed to post grades per semester?
They're supposed to update their schedule once per week, in a minimum, right? So every week you should see new things appear, especially if there's something that that they've done since December 3rd that you're looking to be graded. And I would imagine that, I would hope that in the class that there's something that was handed in between December 3rd and now. But that's an individual teacher issue, and that's a mathematics issue. And I would ask that you reach out to that teacher and give them a shot and have them, you never know what's going on in their life and what's happening, and maybe there's an explanation for the delay. Maybe it's not, maybe it's atypical of that teacher's behavior. If not, if that doesn't work out, and you're finding out this is typical behavior for this teacher, you could tell Mr. Amato the AP Mathematics to resolve.
That's Mr. Newman. And thanks to Mary for that link in the chat. Okay, if tech end up with 20 plus cases in 7 days and closes, is there a set length of time that school would be closed?
So,
I guess keep closed?
no, the DOE, so they have people that make this decision, and they'll give me an order, and they'll say your school is closed for this amount of time. It will reopen on this date. And then they write a letter, and then I send that out to everyone. So that even though that might come from me and have my name on it, it is something that is determined higher up with a start date and an end date. It's not, I do not believe when a school is closed that is indefinite. They give you a return date. Okay,
thanks, Maya, for this question. Okay, 10 cases out of 6,000 cases low, but only non-vaccinated students are being tested.
So the question is, how many students are unvaccinated? There's a very low percentage of unvaccinated students.
Okay. All right. So this is another lunch question. What happened when the school runs out of lunch? Early this week, Monday to be exact, my daughter mentioned that she did not get lunch because they ran out of food.
All right. So like I said, that's actually not the case. It's not that they run out of food. I mean, it's the same thing in the end, but they just don't have the food prepared. And so I mean, it doesn't make any sense, if it's, so they run out of prepared food. So there is still food in the refrigerator or whatnot. It's just that they haven't been able to catch up in preparation. But these issues should have been resolved. It's saddens me to hear that we're still having these issues that we were having much more frequently in the beginning of the year. I'll definitely check into that. I mean, this is like the third question about food. So to see,
we got one more question about
to see
food.
what's going on. I mean, the only alternative is if staffing can't get this done in time, is that food is prepared outside the building, which is always an option, and then they bring it in all ready to go. The only issue with that is that that everybody eats cold food, but you know, nutritionally, it's all the same.
Okay, another question on food here. As per lunch, my son said sometimes there were chicken, but sometimes only 4 dumplings per meal. So I guess we need more dumplings in a meal.
I don't know. They have nutritional standards and calorie standards and that for each meal, and they're pretty much all equal. So maybe the 4 dumplings equals the piece of chicken as far as calories, protein, and whatnot. Yeah, I hear you though. 4 dumplings are definitely not enough.
For Natalia, can you contact Mary on this one? This person is not saying that they're not getting email about community service. The email is actually coming through PupaPath, so you got to make sure your actually email is correct in PupaPath. So you could follow up with Mary. She can make sure you're getting your email is set. Okay, lunch again. The lunch is given is ingredient listed.
I don't think so. I think you just see it. Like if you get a slice of pizza, it's a slice of pizza. It doesn't come with a piece of paper. So I don't know. I think it's just visual.
Okay.
But there are no deep fried foods.
Yes, that is true. That is true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mary.
So I mean, are you asking like, is there on a chalkboard written somewhere like today's food is turkey sandwich, which includes cheese and lettuce? I don't know if they have it to that level, like all the contents of, anyway.
It might be on the website, the DOE website that has lunches.
Okay. Thanks, Mary. Thanks for saying. Next question. What happens if a student does not have enough community service hours?
Get to work. So look, in COVID times, and look, I completely understand last year, even this year, surely, you don't feel comfortable, you just want the kids to come out of school, come right home. You don't want them exposed to some community sort of aspect outside of school, or maybe even inside of school. That's understandable. You're not, Suzanne, no one's, we're not going to hold you back from graduating. So don't worry about that. We're just, we'll just give you a little side eye. That's it. Okay.
So this person is talking about homework. Okay. Is it possible for a student not to get homework over the break? My freshman daughter has been having 3 to 4 hours daily and would benefit from a break.
Okay, so there is a no homework over the break policy. So it is on the website. It is, my teachers will be reminded of it. Now, that being said, if you really want as a teacher to give some work over the break, there are certain rules you have to play by. 1, you have to give the assignment at least a week in advance. In other words, if your child has not gotten the assignment by today, there is no assignment, right? So we happen to be 1 week in advance of the break. So the reason for that is that if a student is going away or doing something that they can't possibly do work, then they get a full week before the break to actually do it, right? So, and so if you don't have an assignment today, there's no assignment over the break. But that being said, the only assignments that even can be given under those rules are Regents classes and AP classes. And nothing else could be given over the break, no matter what. But the idea is to not give work over the break. And the teachers know this, and they had to give it today. So if you didn't hear about it today and you hear about an assignment over the break tomorrow or next week, you need to tell APs about it, because they cannot, so they can renege those assignments, because they cannot do that.
Okay. So Jerry still, didn't like the answer about community service. So he's saying, I also would, he wants to know what happened if the kid does not have sufficient community service.
Side
What's
eye.
the real impact?
You get the side eye. I give you a stern look at graduation, and that's I don't know.
Oh, that's it?
Something
Okay.
happens.
All right. Okay, next question. When and how are sophomore gonna choose their major?
We're looking to do it earlier this year than in years past. It's looking to be, I don't have a concrete date yet, but I'm thinking around the week before President's Week. So that would be, like the second week in February. There would be a fair, and students would have exposure, not physical exposure, but exposure to all of the majors and people who work in the majors and students who are in the majors already. And they will have over the break to make those decisions. That's the idea.
Okay, thanks, Ms. Newman. Okay, next question. How many kids are in the current freshman class?
I should know that exact number. It's high 1600s.
Oh, 1,600, okay,
Yeah, high
That's pretty high.
1600s, like north of 1650.
okay. Okay, so this person's talking about, well, we know the school's not gonna go remote, so that's just the elementary students.
Yeah, there was
Okay.
there was a lot circulating yesterday, last night, and then the DOE, put those rumors to rest today because they knew everybody was talking about it. So if you asked me yesterday, I would have thought the same thing. But
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, next, when is the second marking period grades being sent?
the second marking period, that should be on the calendar. So you're talking about the end of the year grades. Grades are due on the 21st of January by teachers. I'm sorry, marking period ends on the 21st. They have grades due on the 26th. You should be able to see those grades on the 27th. That is a Thursday. You should be able to view the grades after they are submitted by teachers on the 26th.
Okay, thank you. All right, so next question. The reason why this person was asking about what's on the menu is that our daughter has suffered allergy to sesame seed oil.
Oh, yeah, I think you'd have to talk to one of the servers and ask. I mean, it sounds like you'd have to ask each day if there's sesame oil in the food, and they'd be able to tell you.
Okay. All right, so, okay, thanks, Mary, for that one. Bruno, the quality of food is substandard. While it is the responsibility of the city, what can be done to upgrade to higher quality food? Not only pizza, chicken, finger, etc.
I don't know. It's if we think, I think back to, I went to high school in New York City. I think back to what I ate, and some of the meals are similar, and some look a little bit better. I mean, look, they're based on nutritional value. They have criteria to meet for nutritional value. The food all meets that. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's also, they're thinking about cost, and it's cost effective as well. But surely hits all the nutritional value earmarks that they have for the food.
Okay, so is there a vegan food option?
It's crazy. You do know, I mean to say this I'm going to say all this stuff the grain of salt. You do know I don't oversee the food services, right? So they have their own principle of food services. They don't even report to me. But anyway, there are vegan options, yes. Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's good to hear. Okay. All right, so this is back to COVID again. Is there any plan to do COVID testing for students after the break? Since it seems there will be a greater risk of infection being brought back from traveling, and family gathering.
Yeah, and talk of people have to quarantine and whatnot. No, there's no talk of that. I think it would be great if people who had any type of exposure like that got tested on their own. But yeah, there's no mass talk about tests for students.
Okay. Next question. Yes, my daughter's complaining, saying the principal will say one thing, but the teacher do otherwise. I guess it's related to homework.
Is that about homework, you think?
I think it is.
Look, if a teacher is not adhering to school policy, right? So, which I guess is that what you're talking about, giving too much homework, exceeding the limits that I've created for the amount of homework they can give per class. You need to, one, you could try to reach out to the teacher. The teacher might not be aware might think that it's taking you 20 minutes to do something that everybody's taking an hour and no one has spoke up, and they might not have a good gauge of how long it's taking. That's possible. But if it's a problem, you can go right to their AP. That's what they do. And if they hear that they're consistently giving too much homework, they're gonna have to re-examine it, or they're gonna make them re-examine it one way or another, and so that's the job of all the APs. They supervise the teachers, right? So when I'm talking about school policy, and my 270 teachers all are well aware of school policy. Are some of them trying to get around school policy? I guess occasionally, and that's when, unfortunately, a supervisor has to step in sometimes, or fortunately, however you see it, and sort of recalibrate them. And so, because one way or another, they need to adhere to school policy. But time and time again, as you can imagine, they think we know, and we don't really know. And so, although many students could be talking about a teacher and how much homework they can give, I think you shouldn't be amazed by, no matter how many students talk about it, we might not know. You have to talk to us about it,
Okay. Next question. How can I justify the absence of my child? If he doesn't feel well, I keep him home but I don't have a doctor letter because he doesn't need to go to the doctor at that point in time.
That's fine. Just send in a note. I mean, you're his mom or you're his dad, just, you're his guardian, send a note. And I mean, we're taking your word for it. So they didn't feel well, you have a cold, you don't feel like coming in. I mean, especially in today's day and age, right? A cold, you might have thought, maybe I'll stick it out and go in, it's just a little cold. But you start sneezing and coughing around people, everybody's gonna freak out. Like no one, everybody's very COVID conscious, right? So yeah, just write a letter and just, be honest and just say, didn't feel well, and that's enough.
Okay.
That's it.
The next question is about food allergy. The child has a 504 eligibility and has a severe food allergy.
Then those restrictions are given to the food services, and they should have, if need be, a special meal reserved for them. So you have to make sure that goes through them.
Okay, Rita, I don't understand your question. What is the historical number and what are you looking to reduce it to next year? What number are you referring to, Rita?
He knows.
Yeah. Let's see how I dance around this one. The historical number. What is the historical number? You mean the historical number
Of incoming freshmen.
Was that?
The historical number of incoming freshmen, and was last year an aberration? It was too much, and I doing it back.
Oh, that I think I can answer. Okay. The historical number. Well, look, I'm going to go. It depends on when in history you're talking about, but lately, the last decade, the city wants to keep us at 6,000. That's their number, right? And the idea is we ebb and flow from 58, maybe to 6,050. We flow back, we flow up. They want to keep us in that range, right? This last year was an absolute anomaly. I mean, it's based on a historic acceptance rate, which is usually right on the mark, and we blew way past that mark. I think, and you probably can think of the reasons why that happened, but I think that number, that is the new number. And even though it's not an historical number, it only happened once, but I think that's the new number that is here to stay, because if the policies of high school admissions stay the same.
So you took 1,600 last year and you're fighting not to take 1,600 this year.
I don't think I have to fight. I mean, the conversation when I took, you know, high 1600s last year, and that's what ended up yielding. I freaked out for a moment, and then I talked to them, and I'm like, okay, but we need to balance this out for like the next 3 years. And they were very open to that. They understood, and they know my do or die numbers, and we're there. We're if I'm ebbing and flowing between 6,050 to 6,050, I'm at 6,050 with another couple of dozen kids, right? So I'm at my max. So you got to take me down. We got to flow down. And so
How many kids didn't show up last year?
What was that?
How many kids didn't show up last year out of the 700?
Probably a good 60, because
Not a lot.
no, not that much, but like my acceptance number was 1710. You know, that like
Wow.
17 freaked me out, you know. So right, when it went down to 16 and a half, that wasn't
So you're looking to do 1,550?
what was that?
You're looking to do about 1,550?
No, 100 less.
1,500?
100 less. I'm looking to do 1450. You don't see it, huh?
I mean, listen, the whole city wants to come here, and they have a right to try, right? I mean,
no, I get it. But the thing is, so if you look at it, what I really want is 1,500 per class, right? And so if I have a class leaving that's, you know, 1,450 graduating, and you give me a class of 1,550, you just took the school to 6,150. The 6,150 has me busting at the seams.
yeah.
And so you want to keep me just to keep me at 6050, you have to give me the same number of incoming that is outgoing, and that's 1,450. There's a smaller class.
Okay. Are we compared to other specialized high school?
We're the largest.
What in what regard?
I'm saying, how do we compare to other specialized high school in size?
In size?
Yeah.
So Stuyvesant and Bronx Science are similar, around 3,400. I mean, you can find that out publicly. It's usually around that total.
Okay.
And so the other ones I'm not even going to speak of. They're, you know, in the hundreds, you know, and so the other smaller ones, but the big three, as they call them, they're about 3,400 each. And we're at 6,000. So
That's a lot still.
that's
Yeah.
how we compare, and everybody else is, you know, Staten Island Tech's you know, over 1,000, but everybody else is.
Okay. All right.
Lincoln,
So, yes.
Lincoln, you got a couple of questions. I don't think you really. I think you should just, on average, it's somewhere between 1,200 and 1,450 per class. Because you got a couple of questions. How big is the sophomore? How big is the junior? How big is the freshman? I don't think you guys need to deep dive into that. 6,000 students, 1,400 will graduate. Average it out, we're right around 1,200 to 1,400 per class there. So I just want you to skip over those.
Okay.
That's kind of what the average is for the school. Sorry,
Thanks,
parents.
Mel. Thank you. Okay, so students are allowed in the cafeteria, and they can go to the go store to purchase stuff, right, Mr. Neiman?
If students have lunch in the auditorium and would like to go purchase some stuff in the SGO store, yeah, they could get in. Yep. I mean, there's not much for sale these days. We haven't had students have gym uniforms. They've been wearing their own clothes, so there's not much of a need to go to the SGO store. But if they really need to, they can go up there.
Okay, so I'm jumping through here. Okay, can you please advise on the geometry tutoring? Again, please, maybe physics. Okay, so
Yeah.
All right, so this is for severe allergy. Okay, that's Mary responding. Thanks, Mary. Okay, can somebody please, I guess mention, make that the principal is wearing, Okay, okay. So I guess this is based on that baseball cap you're wearing again, Mr. Newman. I'm forbidding you to wear at the next meeting.
Can't get it. It's a me special.
Okay, all right, okay. All right, my son is a sophomore student. Okay, so my son is a sophomore student, but he's struggling for gymnastics classes. So how can he get help to solve the problem?
All right. We don't have gymnastics, so either you're
Yes.
saying geometry or you're saying.
Well, I just read what I see.
No. I know. I'm not saying you said that.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I don't know. Yeah, if it's geometry, there's tutoring and whatnot. I don't know what else it might be. Maybe you're saying it's gym class. There's not really tutoring in gym, but there's ways to surely make up credit in gym. So I don't know. Maybe they could re-clarify what they're talking about later on.
Okay. This is Amanda. I don't understand your question. Some teacher says no complaint or I guess no email to complain any issues. Don't understand that question.
I don't know.
So I'm gonna skip over until she if she has anything. Did the idea of sports fair so that student can learn about the availability sport move forward?
Yeah, no, I really like this. And I spoke to Mr. Ciccolini and Mr. Rubin, who's the athletic director, and we like this idea. We just had to try to figure out, it's probably going to be something that students do as opposed to, coaches just sitting there presenting things. And I think that would be great for students on teams to talk a little bit about what the team is about. So we're just trying to put it all together. Yep, I think it's something that would happen for the spring.
Okay. God bless you. The question, does the union room open DOE space? That's a DOE space. How long kids can be there?
The student union.
Yeah.
So yeah, the student union is not open yet, although all the things are in place for it to be the student union, all the furniture and everything we order in place. I still don't have, I'm waiting for a couple of people to clear hiring and HR regulations so we could put supervision in there. So
Okay.
I need 2 school aides to be hired and they're in the pipeline. They've submitted their fingerprints. We've identified who it's going to be to monitor that room, and obviously it needs to be supervised. So once that happens, we'll have a little ribbon cutting and we'll open that thing up, hopefully in the spring as well.
Okay, great. Question, is there the best way to contact the teacher and AP through the school website email? They're saying, do teachers read those emails?
So if you do it through the website, it does go to the real DOE email. If you find that that you're not getting answered, you should definitely email the assistant principal. They will definitely get back to you. If somehow no one's getting back to you, email me, and then somebody will definitely get back to you.
Okay, and just a follow up on that one, I do send teachers email to PupilPath, and I know they get it because they do respond back to me.
Yeah.
To PupilPath. So that's another way you could, try and send an email.
You don't have to log on to the website or anything to retrieve that email. It bounces directly to their DOE email.
Okay. Okay, question. I'm Mr. Newman. I appreciate that you can't know what all teachers are doing or not doing, but there is a pre-calculus teacher who refused to update grades in Pupil. Students have email, and the response is no every time. The AP in math knows, and yet nothing happens. This is our 3rd year problem.
Yeah, well, it doesn't mean nothing has happened. It just means that the teacher hasn't changed. So if there is, discipline has happened, or the teacher's been talked to, or the teacher's got a letter to file, whatever it is, doesn't mean that we haven't done something. It just means that the teacher hasn't changed. And so, but feel free to email me Franza, is that how you pronounce your name? Farzana maybe? Okay. Feel free to email me. My email is, I'll put it in the chat.
Franzana.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. I'll put my email in the chat. It is dnewman2@schools.nyc.gov. And let me weigh in on the issue and see what we can do.
Okay. All right. Couple of questions on graduation. Will there be prom graduation in 2022? If yes, where will the graduation take place?
There is prom. So there will be prom. And graduation is going to be at Arthur Ashe Stadium again. It's an outdoor stadium. It was a lovely graduation last year, and we're going to continue there for the sole reason that it's an outdoor stadium, and we are actually not sure if the DOE will allow indoor graduation, so we will not be going back to the Barclays Center, not this year. But we already have signed a contract with Arthur Ashe Stadium, and it will be there in June 22.
All right, thank you. Also, what is the requirement for DDP course?
I don't know what you mean by requirement.
Yeah. What is the requirement?
I don't know. You gotta do the work and pass the class, just like anything else. I don't know. I don't know what you mean by requirement.
All right. So this is back to the doctor notes. So the parent Jerry saying, sorry for specific regarding your answer, but no teacher would sign due to lack of the doctor note.
No teacher would sign it? Oh, that's interesting.
Okay, Mary responded to that one.
Okay.
All right, we can ignore. We passed that one.
All right.
Yeah, he said yes, he signed it, but no teacher would sign it.
All right, thank you, Mary. Mary's going to take that one on, and she'll look into that for you.
Okay, thank you. If a student is communication issue with the teacher, who should they talk to about it?
Their supervisor, right? Depending on the issue, but their supervisor. So if there's something going on in a negative way, or they're not like getting their point across, that's why they all have supervisors. So you communicate with them and let them be your conduit.
Okay. So what are the rules on students receiving more time in class exams?
So I don't know what you mean by rules. So if you get more time designated by a 504 IEP, you will get that time to take additional time as your accommodation asks for to have to take the exam. You will do it likely in an accommodations room. So you will start the exam in the regular room. Then let's say you have time and a half. You would then take another 20 minutes in our exam accommodation room, not with the teacher. The teacher is then teaching another class after the class is over, right? If you have double time as well, you do the first period in with the teacher, and then the next period you finish it in the testing accommodations room.
Okay, cool, thanks. Okay, so next question. Many students have 2-period gap in their schedule. And they need Wi-Fi to be productive. What can be done?
I mean, we do have Wi-Fi throughout the building. So if they're in Wi-Fi, they're not picking up so they might not have such a great signal in the auditorium. We don't have Wi-Fi in the auditorium. So that's probably what the issue is. If you're getting Wi-Fi in the auditorium, it's you're feeding actually off one of the classrooms adjacent to the auditorium and not from the auditorium itself. It is fairly, it's never been a problem so much before to not have Wi-Fi in the auditorium, as we had never needed it before. But now that it's used as sort of a lunchroom, a study hall, an in-between, a gap period thing, it's necessary. But we weren't able to get Wi-Fi in the auditorium as quickly as we were able to decide to use the auditorium for all these things. So you're just gonna have to bear with us a little bit. There are other places you can go on gap periods. You can go to the library, which does have Wi-Fi. Some other places, there's definitely a lot of places that you can go that you can capture Wi-Fi. Just the auditorium isn't it?
Okay. I don't understand this question from Michael Rees. How about if kids learn or practice a sports in gym?
I don't know. I don't know what that question is.
Yeah. Okay. Next. When will students get a chance to change their schedule?
For this year?
Is it, yeah, when they,
Well,
yeah.
in the spring, very few students change classes. But you don't get to like change your schedule in the spring. Like you're not like, hey, I want a different physics teacher or something like that. They carry over. So next year.
Okay. Hillary, I don't understand your question, but I'm going to read it. What is the plan for the foundry?
That's a long question with a long answer. We want to make it, usable space for students to do from a huge media center to a library to also a student union and encapsulate all of these things. I mean, we have now with the student union, we have separate areas for these things, but none of them are as big nor as all-encompassing as the foundry. So that's sort of the plan. You may know our library is it's a nice library, but it's not an adequate size for the number of students that we have. We need more space for all of these things. So that's the plan. And we do have like a 3D rendering of the entire space that looks great. But yeah, money and all sorts of powerful people need to be aligned to make that happen. So we're trying.
Okay. All right. My doctor is asking if you post this Zoom for students to use as a reference for teachers who assign homework during break.
Wait, what?
This is from Kadeen.
Oh, if you post this,
Ken.
if you'll post a Zoom for students to use as a reference for teachers, okay, but the policy is right on the website. Go into policies and go into testing. It's right there for everybody to see. And so the proof is there, and I will be cutting and pasting that policy and sending it out in the morning and letting them know if you haven't already given an assignment, you can't give one.
So Lincoln, before you go on,
Yeah.
parents remember, teachers have already assigned some projects to the children, which may be due after the break. That is absolutely fine. They will not be, most teachers will not assign a new homework assignment going into the break. So if they've already have an assignment that's due, then that is still due after the break. It is, the child should work on it throughout the break. This is something we went through as a freshman where we weren't sure, but the policy has always been the same. So most teachers won't break that policy.
Thanks, Mel.
Thank you.
Okay, question. My son is a sophomore student. He's struggling with geometry class. So how can he solve the problem?
Tutoring, go to tutoring, peer tutoring, tutoring by adults. We got lots of tutoring for geometry.
Okay. Is there a way to make more virtual clubs? I don't want my daughter to get home too late. She takes mass transit to school.
Yeah, that's actually not the direction we're going to. We're trying to make less virtual clubs, and we're trying to make more in-person clubs. I wish we could have all the clubs in person. Clubs that are too big to be in person because we can't social distance are the only ones that are virtual. So it's not like certain ones are virtual for any other reason besides they have too many attendees to happen in person. So that's the only reason they're virtual.
Okay, so this person said, we consider some teacher takes the student intimidation, they intimidate the students, so they have a fear to complain. So I can answer this question. I think a couple of years ago, we had this issue with a teacher. So all I did was go to the AP principal, and the issue was resolved. So and I didn't have to complain any further. But that's one thing you could do. Or Mr. Newman, do you have another suggestion?
No, that's good. Don't be afraid to go to the AP, right? And so, yeah, I mean, that's what they're there for. I mean, they field emails and calls all day about, their teachers. And so it's not like you're being a pain to them or anything. And they need to know, like I said before, they need to know what's going on with their teachers, right? If they don't, you'd be amazed that, like I said before, what people talk about and don't tell us and that we don't know.
Okay. Question, if a child don't want to be on the team, but like the plan of the sports for everyone?
Wait, say that again?
This question, if a child don't want to be on a team, but like to play, does Brooklyn Tech have a simple version of a sport for everyone?
No, we don't really have like intramurals or anything like that. And our gym spaces after school are used by the team. So it's not like you could just play basketball with your friends and whatnot. I mean, they're being utilized. And so, yeah, we don't really have the space to facilitate non-team sports.
Okay. All right. Okay, that's Mary responding. Okay. How can I make sure my child address is how can I make sure my child's address is outdated? Okay, I emailed a form and proof of address, but I haven't, been informed that it was changed.
Mary already answered that one.
Okay, cool, Mary. Thanks, Mary. And look, yeah. Okay, the lunch food cafeteria. Okay.
Oh, it's better. Yeah. So the students are going to switch in the spring. So the students who are in the cafeteria are going to the auditorium in the spring, and the ones in the auditorium are going to the cafeteria in the spring. So it'll switch for the semester.
Okay. All right. My son is heading up the after-school soccer club. Unfortunately, they will have no room to actually play. He would like to fill out a permit for Pier 5, but insurance information is needed. Who should he contact regarding this? The club advisor is new to the school.
Yeah, so
you need to get a permit.
Yeah, you need to get Pier 5's insurance. Right, so you get it from Pier 5, what kind of insurance they have, and so we can have it on file, so we can allow this to happen. So yeah, so that's it. It's just one of the requirements that we have, a school sanctioned event.
Okay, thanks. Do students ever get to choose their own classes? Yeah.
Yes and no. I mean, you get to choose your major, but so then classes are chosen for you based on your major, but you at least get to choose the major, the 5 cadre of classes that are going to be your electives. Senior, your senior selective in English, you get to choose. And then also you can choose AP European History or AP World instead of regular World History, AP US History instead of regular US History. There's a number of, in lieu of AP classes, especially through the social studies, AP Economics versus regular economics. There are some choices in there, but the major system is really what takes the real choice out of high school experience. You need 5 electives in any high school, but ours are a cadre around a particular field, like robotics, like law, like aerospace. So yeah, I mean, you're still making these selections. It's just we've sort of cohorted a lot of them for you based on the major you choose.
Okay. All right. So this person said, to clarify, I think it would be great if my son in gym had an opportunity to learn or practice sport, such as learning to play basketball, soccer. Yeah.
So that absolutely does happen, but it's not happening this year. So I'm not letting kids get close together, right? in physical education, so that's why. So you're not going to play soccer and run right by people, and you're not going to play basketball and guard people very closely. None of that's happening this year. So that was a me decision. That's not happening. So they're staying far apart. They're learning some sports skills, but they're also doing things like standing apart and throwing a Frisbee back and forth and learning how to throw a Frisbee. I mean, we've thought of some interesting ways to keep you apart, but still teach you some sort of physical skills and exercise. But yeah, we're not playing any team sports in physical education, not this year. Usually they do a whole carousel of sports, and they'll do basketball for a couple weeks and soccer for a couple weeks, and they'll teach you different sports, but not this year.
Okay. Do freshmen get access to Naviance?
Yeah, they do. They do. I don't want to roll all into it, but you're going to be told about that in their advisory classes in the spring.
Okay. Is there a tutoring for Spanish for DDP?
Yes, and yes.
Okay. When is Algebra 2 tutoring? My son was told there wasn't any after school due to teacher retiring.
There's definitely during school, and there's definitely peer NHS tutoring. But I will surely find some Algebra 2 if it's not there to add to the schedule.
Okay, thanks, Mary, for that one. Who's the AP for freshmen?
You mean an assistant principal for, there's no assistant principal for freshmen?
I
There's
answered that.
Oh, you did? Thanks, Mary.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
you did. Okay. Oh, freshmen don't get access to Naviance. See, you're turning into a liar, Mary. Yeah. Is that true? I thought they do get access in the, all right, I'm gonna stop talking.
I'm
All
not
right.
sure now. So one of us is a liar.
All right. All right. So, yeah, there's no AP for freshmen. There's AP for subject areas like Mary talked about. Yeah.
In the past, freshmen did get access to Naviance. They should have got an email about that. I'm not sure. It's just difficult to navigate as a freshman.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
And even
so
if you
far
didn't
out.
get it, now I'm going to give it to you just so I don't act like I'm a liar. So no matter what, you're getting it.
Okay. All right. So my child bought home permission slip for December trip, like a boat or a cruise. Is that still happening?
It's this weekend. It's in 2 days. It's happening. So
Oh, this weekend.
unless the
Okay.
DOE, you know,
All right.
we paid for it. That boat is sailing, and it is this Saturday. And so unless the DOE somehow tomorrow decides to shut down schools, it's happening.
Okay. All right. So there's no impact to COVID on the band or dance concert?
There's no dance concert, so
Okay.
I don't know what that's about. But the playing in the orchestra band, there's done with special equipment so they could play their instruments, but yet not have saliva fly or anything like that. But it's done in a safe atmosphere with distancing.
Okay. So this person. Okay. So he was told today by the guidance counselor that Naviance is now only available to juniors and seniors.
Oh, all right. It used to be available for freshmen, I'm telling you. But all right. Mel does. Okay, I'll look into that and find out the reasons why.
Okay. All right. So my child physics teacher is leaving in a month. Is there any plan to hire a replacement?
I mean, their physics teacher is leaving in a month.
Yeah. Do you know about that?
All right. I mean, I don't think they're retiring. Maybe somebody's having a baby or some type of leave. Usually what happens if there's a childcare leave, we'll try to have people in-house cover the classes for the 6 weeks or whatever, how long it is, and then the teacher will come back. So I don't know off the top of my head what is the situation here, but there surely is not a physics teacher. I don't think there's a physics teacher retiring, but yeah.
Okay. All right. So last question, it seems, this one. Is there a way to join the club, and is it mandatory?
What club?
Any club, I guess it's any club.
Any club?
Yeah.
Is, okay, so you're supposed to get club credits, yes, for graduation, right?
Yeah.
And what is a way you go to the, the club, you just start showing up at the club and you go, yeah, you just,
Yeah, you get 32 club credits.
yeah.
And, as a freshman, when you're coming in, you get to sign up for a club ID, which is like $25, I believe it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so it seems like that's all the question. Thank you, Mr. Newman.
All right, I'm getting out while I can. All right.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Appreciate
Thanks,
everybody bearing
Mary.
with me. All right.
Okay.
Have a great evening.
So,
You too.
okay. Okay, Vito, I'm gonna adjourn the meeting. Do I have a second on that one?
I second that.
Thank you, Mel. So the meeting is adjourned.